Hello everyone and welcome back to another video by Business with Professor T. Today we'll be focusing on the studies of transactional and transformational leadership. This will cover the key areas such as the history of the leadership styles, how they look within the workplace, and the advantages and disadvantages. Firstly, making a distinction between the two leadership styles, starting off with transactional leadership, it occurs when leaders reward followers for good performance and effort and use disciplinary measures when necessary to achieve compliance. They are therefore goal-orientated, and motivation is based on rewards and punishments, and they possess a reactive mindset. Transformational leadership, on the other hand, occurs when followers are made aware of what is of importance to achieve long-term success, and leaders inspire followers to surpass expectations and achieve the vision. They are therefore vision-orientated, and motivation is based on charisma and enthusiasm, and they possess a proactive mindset. Bernard Morris Bass, who was an American scholar that focused on the areas of leadership studies and organizational behavior, stated that transactional leaders work within the organizational culture as it exists. The transformational leader changes the organizational culture. So here you can see the difference between the two. This links to the history of both leadership styles, in which I'll now be covering. Burns, in 1978, in his book titled Leadership, was the first to conceptualize transactional and transformational leadership, which was later expanded upon by Bass in 1985. However, the transactional leadership theory was first outlined by Max Weber in 1947, and the term transformational leadership was coined by sociologist James V. Downton in 1973. Transactional leadership was the first theory to directly address leadership as a relationship and was widely used after World War II. Now moving on to the more practical side of transactional leadership, so how it's seen within the workplace. Effective transactional leaders adhere to rules, procedures, and standards. They closely monitor followers in order to enforce the necessary rules, reward areas of achievement and success, and punish failure. They provide followers with constructive feedback to improve their performance and output in order to receive better feedback and reinforcement, and they make expectations clear, make followers aware of rewards for good performance, and provide assistance where needed. Transformational leadership, on the other hand, has a different approach. So now we're going to be looking at it within the workplace. So effective transformational leaders clearly define and clarify the organization's values. They act as role models by maintaining a high standard of legal and moral behavior. They create purpose and encourage collaboration amongst employees. Inspire innovation through encouraging team members at all levels of the organization to share feedback, improvements, and ideas. And they encourage open communication with employees with a supportive environment that followers feel comfortable opening up and are aware that their needs are being acknowledged. Similar features are covered in the 4 dimensions of transformational leadership, which are idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and lastly, individualized consideration. On this slide, I've included some quotes from scholars on transformational leadership, so feel free to pause the video here and have a read. Now looking at the gender comparison of the two leadership styles in regard to which one is favoured, as stated in Brad and Ken in 2011, contrary to received wisdom, there is little consensus in the literature about gender differences in leadership styles. For example, only weak evidence exists suggesting that women display more transformational leadership than men. Alongside this, Eagley and others' research on transformational leadership identified that across a wide number of studies, women were found to be slightly more likely than men to demonstrate transformational leadership. However, with that being said, this is old work and there's only small real differences as opposed to the statistically significant differences that do emerge. As like many other things in life, transactional leadership and transformational leadership have advantages and disadvantages. Starting off with the advantages of transactional leadership. Transactional leadership can motivate team members within an organization as the financial gain that is rewarded for good performance will allow their needs and desires to be met, which should increase motivation and productivity. Another advantage is that transactional leaders guide the steps of their followers, as all steps required are outlined through short-term planning, allowing for short-term achievable goals and objectives to be met. Team members are also clearly informed of what is expected of them within transactional leadership and what their role involves, as well as the chain of command within the organization. This, this also includes team members being aware of what rewards they'll be given if they abide with what is expected of them, and the punishments that will come in play if the procedures of the organization are not abided by. Lastly, another advantage is that transactional leadership can be seen as simple and straightforward to implement, as the main requirement is to impose the rules within the organization. Now moving on to the disadvantages of transactional leadership. Within transactional leadership, followers are expected to follow the mandated instructions and therefore doesn't allow them to come up with their own creative and innovative ideas and may as a result not be best for people with a creative mindset. And as we have covered previously, transactional leadership involves rewards. However, transactional leaders tend to focus on the consequences that result from failure and tend to blame team members as opposed to a change in leadership style or adjustment to the transactional leadership style that is currently in place. This may lead to team members feeling dissatisfied. Rewards are not seen as motivating by all, so the desired result of an increase in productivity may not be experienced and may lead to low levels of productivity within the organization as a whole. However, this depends on the motivating factors of the majority of employees. Managers with a transactional leadership style tend to not consider the emotions of their employees as they place abidance as of greater importance, and as a result, employees may not demonstrate concern for the company but instead focus on the rewards they will gain. So these are just some of the advantages and disadvantages of transactional leadership. Moving on to transformational leadership, starting off with the advantages, transformational leaders tend to effectively recognize the needs of their followers, which encourages them to come up with new ways to empower people to do their best, which is essential to reaching high levels of productivity through making staff feel engaged and motivated. Another advantage is that transformational leadership allows for gaps in knowledge, practicality, or just problems in general to be easily identified to operate in accordance with the vision of the workplace, and changes can therefore be implemented quickly with the support of followers to deal with the concerns effectively and efficiently. Another advantage is that a transformational leader encourages team members to learn new skills and as a result contributes to their personal development, which will not only aid in meeting the organization's vision through the learned skills being implemented, which should increase productivity, but will also make followers feel that they are not only working for the good of the organization but for themselves. Lastly, transformational leadership gives followers a lot of personal freedom and therefore allows for creativity and innovative ideas from followers as opposed to transactional leadership, which works on command, rewards, and punishment, as previously discussed. Moving on to disadvantages, transformational leadership in large organizations can lead to constant conflict between team members due to differing opinions, and based on the style, it involves inclusion of all team members, so may not be best in the instance of a large organization, but may be better in small businesses with limited team members, and given the responsibility to selected employees to be representatives may work best for large organizations. Another disadvantage is that the long-term vision is made the main focus within transformational leadership and therefore doesn't focus tasks and the finer details that is needed to achieve the bigger picture, and some employees may need that support and guidance that being able to complete short-term tasks provides, and essentially operational planning is needed for the organization to achieve its vision. Transformational leadership is highly based on communication, which will involve continuous feedback and meetings for the leadership style to be successful, with full involvement of employees to keep commitment to the vision of the organization. And lastly, employees may find working towards the organization's vision demotivating if they are required to work long hours and may therefore no longer want to be productive. So these are some of the advantages and disadvantages of transformational leadership. On this slide, I've included a reference list of all the sources that were used throughout this video. So feel free to go through the different sources and expand your knowledge and get a better understanding. This brings us to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or queries, contact us via email at businesswithprof_t@yahoo.com and follow us on Instagram at businesswithprof_t. Please do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and let us know in the comment section any videos you would like to see. Thank you very much for watching once again. See you soon.